Hello, welcome to Co-opting with Marie, or better known as Ilethia. Welcome to my kitchen. Today is Sunday. It is the 30th. Yes, because tomorrow is the last day of January 2022. And it's just about 2:30 in the afternoon, Central Standard Time here in Dallas, Texas. What I'm going to do is something I've already done previously, but it's been so choppy, and it was never a full event. And not to mention, I have been going through iterations of making cheese, homemade cheese, and now I finally have cracked the code, if you will. I'm much better at it, and namely because I went from using yogurt I still use my 2% milk. This full gallon is going to go into the cheese. Instead of the yogurt, I'm now adding this is citric acid. The yogurt always added additional calories that I didn't necessarily care for, since this milk is 2%. It sort of keeps the caloric content down, of course, and then I'm adding on the additional yogurt. So and that helped me with the volume and the what I thought I needed that. But as it turned out, citric acid is a much better thing for me to use for my cheese. So I'm going to be using that, as well as I was using the regular cheesecloth. I have found and replaced the regular cheesecloth with these flour sack towels that work perfectly. So we'll be using those, and I've already got, I've obviously washed them good and put up 2 from this pack. So I will be using 1 from the ones that are washed. So in addition to the cheese, I'll be making the full palak paneer. The paneer being the cheese. The palak is the spinach dish. I'm going to be using pretty much all of these bags. I think I'll set some of the spinach aside for me for later, just with salads and stuff. But the majority of this spinach I'm going to be using. Okay, so I had to prep my pot. I had a little scarring at the bottom. It was clean, but I needed to scrub. I'm sort of a stickler for for cleanliness. Anyway, so we're taking this gallon, 2% milk. We need a deep pot like this because I have tried in a regular sized pot where it was almost full based on this being a gallon. And once it starts to froth, once it comes to that boiling point, that frothiness can and did boil over. So and the recipe calls for a deep pot, but you have to, it's like me, sometimes live and learn. So the deep pot is always your best bet, because it will froth over if it's not a deep pot. Okay, so now we've gotten this in, and by my clock it says 2:36. What I want to do is I want to time this for you, so you'll get an idea of how long, of course, it's going to take to make homemade cheese. All right, I have to prepare the citric acid. This is 1/3 cup of water, and you want to add 2 teaspoons. And you want to citric acid, it looks like salt, and it'll dissolve like salt in water. So that's 1 teaspoon and 2 teaspoons. Okay. And I get this, by the way, I I believe I've told you before, but Central Market or any of Sprouts, any of the those health food stores should have citric acid. Excuse me. I could show you if you can see that. That is a good froth. And I'm continuously. It is some scorching at the bottom, but as long as I don't dig into that and keep agitating, keep going, it's not going to. You don't see any black because I'm not peeling it up. I'm just keeping things moving, in one direction. So this is just about ready to add. I'm going to lower the heat. And I'm going to add my citric acid. And after I do this, I'm also going to add my seasoning to this. And I have been adding some garlic and salt seasoning. Lawry's a specific garlic salt. So we can remove this now because the curds are pretty good. And now I want to stir this slowly. I want to agitate this very, very slowly. And I want to go the same direction. And do that for a few minutes. And then I am going to it's my Lawry seasoning salt that I like, and some fenugreek leaves. That's it. That makes a very interesting flavor. Agitate this very slowly. The seasoning moved around. I don't want any stems in there. That was a stem. There's a few stems from the fenugreek leaves, but that's okay. And they're small enough. So I'm just agitating this just enough to mix everything in. I've got enough curds in here. Pardon me. I want you to see the curds. There's enough curds in here that I don't need to continue to agitate. I'll let this set for a moment now. I'm going to cover this. Excuse me. And there you go. So for now, that's the cheese. All right, welcome back. It's about 3:14 now, and we've let the whey, or the curds, I should say, settle under the whey, and we are ready to strain this. So I've got the potato sack cloth lined with colander here, and we are going to put this in here. I think we can just, sometimes it's best to, but this would take a very long time to do. So I'm trying to do this a little expeditiously, if you will. So let's just working well enough. I'm not breaking up the curds with the water. This colander is better. The last time I used my plastic colander, this metal colander is much better. It's wider, flatter. So it's actually helping the cheese to stay intact. This is going to be interesting cheese, given I've got my leaves in it, my fenugreek leaves. I hadn't ever put this much, but I do like the flavor of fenugreek. And my son does not care for paneer, so this is for me only, for my taste only. And of course, you all can use whatever seasoning that, you know, to obviously to your taste, right? So there is the cheese, a nice batch. So we're gonna take this cloth and we're going to pull it together. I should have gotten my string, but that's okay. And we're going to just let the water run down, so it's clean and clear, as much of the way as we can get out of the way. Sorry. I am not a professional cook, nor a director, nor a comedian. Right? Anyway, we'll just run this for just a few minutes under the water. And remember, my leaves, my fenugreek leaves, for my taste, we don't have to put anything in it, because when I first started making cheese, I didn't put anything in it, not even salt. So now I put, you know, my garlic seasoning salt in it. I put my leaves in it. It's according to taste. And then we can squeeze that ever so gently. Welcome back. All right, I've assembled the ingredients for the palak, which is the cream spinach. We've got our food processor here. I'm going to use this for the green chili. It was this one is just a little bit bigger than this, chopped up, and of course some ginger, fresh ginger, a couple of teaspoons of that. And then our turmeric, our ground coriander, our masala, ground masala, ghee, to fry the seasoning in. The recipe calls for sweet paprika. I don't have any sweet, but so I'm going to use the smoked paprika, ground cumin, and some salt, Himalayan salt there. These seasoning over here. I'm sorry. This is for my chickpeas. I'm going to do a recipe of chickpeas today. But as far as my spinach, so I'm getting ready to. There's the water. I'm going to go ahead and cook the spinach just for a few minutes until it turns soft. And we're going to blend that, the spinach. Once it turns soft, I'm going to put it into my blender. The recipe says put it in the food processor, but as you can see, my food processor is kind of small. So I didn't want to have to do it twice, and a blender suffices. It works just as well. So I'll use the blender and I've done that a couple times already. I'll use the blender for the spinach, and I'll use my food processor for the ultimate seasoning paste is what it will be. That's what will be fried. Stay tuned.
All right, this is the end.